for credit unions here in Minnesota. I'd like to welcome you here today. The reason that we're here is to talk about credit unions and the growth that we're seeing in credit unions throughout the state. In all four corners of Minnesota, we're seeing a tremendous amount of growth in credit unions. Today we have over 1.6 million members in credit unions in Minnesota that are served by over 400 different branches and offices of credit unions throughout our state. In the last couple of years, specifically, we've been seeing record growth in terms of the numbers of people that are joining credit unions, and the net growth has been, in the last 2 years, is over 100,000 people that have joined credit unions. 63,000 people joined credit unions in 2013. That's on top of the 47,000 that joined in 2012. So it's been an exciting time to be involved in credit unions, as every year it is for us to do that. But now in particular, the things that we stand for as institutions, about being local, about being there for the members, that provide that trust back to us that we'll do the right thing for people. So being local, being trusted, being invested in our communities are qualities that are really resonating today with consumers in Minnesota, and they're driving record growth into credit unions. One of the reasons for that is that we're heavily involved in our communities, especially in the financial education arena. We have credit unions throughout the state that are involved in that. Of our 130 credit unions, over 90% of our credit unions have programs that involve financial education to their members and to their community. And when you think about the scale of credit unions, that we have a lot of small financial institutions that are involved in that, but it's a core of what we do as credit unions to provide that education. And so it's a tremendous overhead that we do because it's part of who we are. It's part of how we serve our members, how we build our communities, and how we build that trust. So we have a couple of examples here today of the financial education that's being done in our communities in Minnesota. And the first is Chuck Albrecht with Mid-Minnesota Credit.
Thank you, Mark. Mid-Minnesota Federal Credit Union started in 1956 with 7 employees of the Northwest Paper Company getting together with $175 to start a credit union. Today, we're just shy a little bit of 38,000 members, covering a 6-county area with total assets of about $260 million. So it's grown a lot in those years. But one of the big things that we do and have been doing since 2008 has to do with financial education. In 2008, we started with a partnership with the Brainerd Senior High School to provide a financial literacy education through the economics department. There's 9 various topics that cover things from budgeting to credit to how do you go about renting an apartment, how do you choose a credit card. There's 9 different topics. And that program has expanded now out to 7 area school districts. And this is at no cost to the school districts, and we supply all the materials for the students. As you look through those materials, you will not find Mid-Minnesota Federal Credit Union's name or logo on any of it, because we're there about the education. Because we know if we can educate people at a young age, it's going to be better citizens for our whole community. So we're reaching out truly to more than just our members that we have, but we're reaching out to those students as well that are not members. The other area, it's not just for students, we also educate adults. We have various education seminars that go on, everything from how to go about doing a construction loan, how to unlock Social Security, different topics like that, identity theft, those kind of things to help our adult members as well. So it's a very important piece of why we're here, because we feel that not only are you improving a member's financial well-being by having low-priced products and low-priced fees, but if you're educating that member, you're actually improving that financial well-being as well. Outside of the education piece, our employees do a number of volunteer hours in the community, in various organizations that we work with. We sponsor locally a shred day at all of our branch locations, and last year there was 15,000 pounds of sensitive documents that members brought in free of charge to them to have shredded here. And so that's just another way that we're giving back. And lastly, when talking about volunteering and about the staff doing things and the materials and that, but beyond that, we budget approximately $74,000 a year for donations that goes out to the various areas that we have that we service. So we're truly giving back to the members and to those communities, you know, with those items. So it really is emphasizing, as you saw the big sign that's in our lobby, it's about people helping people, and we believe that this financial education piece is truly a key to that. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Chuck, appreciate that. And then we also have from Crowing Power, Diane Viehauser, who's going to talk about some of the financial education programs that are going on there. Dan, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Crowing Power Credit Union is part of that growth that they've talked about. We were formed 15 years ago by our cooperative sponsor, Crowing Power. So keeping with a cooperative movement, they decided what better way to help the members of Crowing Power was to start a credit union. So they did that. We have been in existence for 15 years. We serve approximately 5,100 members at this time. Crowing Power has about 36,000 members of Crowing Power, so we do have huge growth potential continuing forward. We are now at almost 75 million in assets, so we've grown very, very quickly. We feel that we've served an important part of the financial landscape in the Brainerd Lakes area. We cover the 3-county area of Cass, Crow Wing, and Morrison County. So lots of opportunities coming forward. We are not quite as involved in the community as Mid-Minnesota is, mainly because we are smaller, fewer employees. We just don't have those opportunities that Mid-Minnesota has. Our sponsor, Crowing Power, People Security, and Crowing Power Credit Union, we take advantage of every volunteer opportunity that we can. They are very active in the community, and we are a part of that. Personally, I volunteer with Junior Achievement, so I teach a class, and it has a part of financial literacy in it, and that has been exciting for me, getting back involved in the teaching arena. And I think it's an important part of helping our children to become better citizens, better financially astute, and helping our communities to grow through those opportunities. Crowing Power also has Operation Roundup. They donate a lot to the local communities through health and well-being. So they do a lot of donations through that program. And again, the credit union has kind of deferred that particular piece of our anatomy to Crowing Power. So again, we're not as involved as Mid-Minnesota, but we still feel that we are contributing a great deal to the financial security and growth of this area. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Diane. I think it's important to have that viewpoint of two different both sizes and styles of credit unions, one that's serving a very specified group and another that serves a much larger community. That's part of the diversity of credit unions in our state overall. But we're also very fortunate to have two of our elected officials who I get the opportunity to spend a little bit of time in St. Paul. They probably feel like they spend much too much time there, and sometimes I wish they would spend a little bit more because we enjoy seeing that. So I think we'll start it if time permits. Is there a time? Shoot, so, Senator Ruud, if you'd like to be first. Or?
I was going to do this. I thought I was just going to be an observer.
No way.
Well, I appreciate you asking me here today. You are a vital part of our community, and I think the education piece is so vital. I remember when my son graduated, and that first 6 months they're on their own, and he comes to me with this checking account, and it's just a mess. He had no idea how to, he knew he should have one, but he didn't know how to manage a checking account. And so the fact that you're going now and doing that education piece, it's really vital, because our children are so much further ahead than we were financially. We had piggy banks, they have savings accounts, they have IRAs practically, you know, in high school. And so it's that important piece so that they are financially secure early on in life, I think is amazing. And I know how much that you do for our communities, because whenever we have events in our communities and we ask you for help, be it a door prize, be it a sponsorship or anything, you're always willing to be right there to do that for us. And so I do appreciate all that you do for our community, and I especially appreciate the education piece because it's really vitally important. So thank you.
Well, thank you. One of the things that we have learned, across the state as we've been involved in financial education, and we talk with kids about that, is how much both the instructors at the school also need that help, but probably just as importantly, how much of that goes up to the parents, from the kids to the parents. I grew up in a generation where you didn't talk about money. That wasn't something, that was a taboo subject at home. And so by osmosis, we were to learn to be frugal, and largely that worked. But we're working hard to ensure that those that we serve have a better opportunity to do better than we did. So we also appreciate that Representative Ward is here and have a few words of enlightenment for us, I'm sure.
We'll see. Well, thanks, Mark, and thanks everyone for being here. And let me just, Senator Ruud is so accurate when she says that, one of the key components of things that you do for our community and our children is the finance education that you provide. And being a former educator, I know how important that is. And I know how our school district has our own school district, Brainerd, but as Chuck mentioned, they're now in 7 different school districts. And I know how those districts have now come to rely on that gift that you give to them. So that is huge. And Senator Ruud is accurate. I had my first checkbook and I didn't know what to do with it either. And so I became a member of the Proctor Federal Credit Union up in Proctor, Minnesota, and was a member of the Proctor Federal Credit Union until I moved on to Brainerd, and then I joined the Teachers Credit Union. And the credit unions do remarkable good work because their members feel like this finance institution they can trust. It's homey to them. It's like Mark, you said, we grew up not talking a lot about finances, but it's something that needs to be talked about and dialogued about and educated about right now. Matter of fact, I would venture to say that in the finance arena, credit unions are known as the good guys, as the good women and good men.